Welcome to this grade 7 integer lesson number 1. Let's get started. The best way to think about integers is through the use of a thermometer. Now, when you have temperatures above 0 degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, those are all called positive numbers. And that's exactly what I have here, positive numbers. Okay, in this example here on this slide, again going with temperatures, you can see in Prince George, BC on April 27th, 2014, the temperature was 12 degrees Celsius. And so in terms of integers, we will refer to that as a positive number. Now, some numbers can be positive in integers. Now remember, going back to our thermometer analogy, you'll have temperatures that fall below 0, -1, -2, -3. And in integers, we refer to that as a negative number. Okay? And so here, again, usually on the news or something like that, you'll see it portrayed as a -4 degrees Celsius. Okay, now here's an activity I want you to try, and I want you to pause the slide right now and give it a shot. So I have a few different scenarios here. I want you to go through and see if you can figure out if are each of these scenarios a positive or a negative, and go through and see if you can actually figure out the number that's associated with it. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. Okay. Now we're back. Hopefully you've taken some time to give it a shot. Now let's take this up together and see how you did. Now when we're figuring this out, I find that the best way to go about doing this is to look for keywords. Remember, when you're reading, you're looking for keywords. That's the same skill that you can still bring into math. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's take our first example, 8 degrees above 0. If we go for our keyword that we're looking for is above. Now, when I see the word above, I have a positive integer. So I'm going to put the positive sign here. Now, my example says 8 degrees above 0. So in this case, I'm going to do a positive 8. Now, I have this positive sign here, but it's not always necessary. If I was to simply write the number 8, just like that, it will also be acceptable as well. So either way, you can write that, that's not a problem. Now let's go down to our next example. So 10 degrees below 0. I'm going to look for that keyword. My keyword here is below. Now, when I see that word below, then sign that I'm going to be looking for is negative. And if I go to the beginning, it says 10 degrees below 0. So this number is going to be negative 10. Now, in a lot of textbooks and other sheets that you're going to be seeing, they usually take these negative integers and they embrace them in brackets. Makes the work a little bit more organized, so I'm going to suggest that you do that right off the bat. Now let's go on to the next example. Parking 3 levels below ground level. So again, I'm going to look for my keyword, which is below, and I'm going to put that as my negative sign. And I see right at the beginning, it says parking 3 levels. So my answer here is going to be -3. So far, so good. Let's go on to the next one. 2 points ahead in a soccer game. So my keyword is ahead. So again, I'm going to put my positive sign. And in this case, this is 2 points ahead. So my answer is going to be +2. Right, let's go on to my next. A loss of $16. My key word here is loss, so I'm going to associate loss with a negative number, and the digits I'm looking for is 16. And I forgot to do this on the other one above, but I'm going to remember to put my brackets in there. And the final one, taking 4 steps backward. So my key word here is backwards. I'm going to put -4. I'm going to put that in brackets. So there you go. So hopefully you went through each of those and you got them right. Now let's move on. Now this slide is something that I have already technically said, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. So again, just to reiterate, when we're talking about integers, you'll have numbers that are referred to as both positive and negative. And in positive has that positive sign, not always, but it is seen. Okay. Now, when it comes to integers, we also sometimes like to use a number line. Now, usually when you think of thermometers, you think of a vertical thermometer, and it will look something like this. All right. So again, very similar to a thermometer. I see here I have my scales going by 10, and I have my 0. All these are very familiar territory. When I go above 0, these are all my positive numbers. You'll see I have all my positive digits. And when I go below 0, I have all my negative integers. And I can tell because I have all those negative signs. Now, you do have a vertical number line, but as with another way of portraying number lines, you can do it horizontally as well. It means the exact same thing. You can certainly plot points on either way, but I wanted you to see that that number line can be shown horizontally and vertically. All right. Now, here's a term that I want you to remember, and I have it here in bold, and that is, a term is opposite integers. So opposite integers are numbers that are the same distance from 0. So if I jump down to my example, you'll see I have my positive 2 and negative 2. Now, those refer to as opposite integers because they are the same number of units away from 0. My other examples down below, positive 4 and negative 4, positive 21, negative 21, it doesn't matter. I can take any number as long as they are the same number of units from 0. We're going to refer to them as opposite integers. And that's all you need to know for lesson number 1. Way to go. Because there's no point in the next